ay hindi maganda, sabihin sa magulang at sa bahay muna. Sa kalye, BIDA Kid! Best friend natin ang mask, suotin kahit saan. Ingatan ang kamay, maghugas pag galing sa labas. Sa school, BIDA Kid! Sa pila, wag dikit-dikit, dumistansya para iwas sakit. Laging open ang window para maganda ang airflow. 3B's, tandaan, bakuna, bayanihan, BIDA Kid! Halina at magtulungan. Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig, sa ligtas na pagbabalik, sama-sama maging BIDA Kid.
Kristanos! Sakay mo ako! Kristanos!
Sa isang kabilang ngiti, walang katulad natin kanin. Isang araw din ay makakamtan, sa isang magsisikap lahat matagalan. Walang ibang hinahangat, wala itong katulad na sa isang kapisilin may araw na sisikat din. Aking bibigay ang ipapabilin, ang batong panasa'y muling tatanawin. Bakit naman lahat ito'y ating makakamtan? Pustos ang pagsisikap, magbubuo isang sa isang banda may munting piling, bibiglas niyang iparingin. Nag-aalman sa walang pangalan, ang karunungan ay siyang mas mahalaga. Walang ibang hinahangat, wala itong katulad na sa isang napisilin may araw na sisikat din. Aking bibigay ang ipapabilin, ang bagong panasa'y muling tatanawin. Bakit naman lahat ito'y ating makakamtan? Pustos ang pagsisikap, matutupad ang pangarap. Wala nang makakaman ng kahit tulos ay tumarang. Sipag at lakas ang ating hawak. Labis ng ating paglaban, patuloy na iharangan. Pangalan ko ay siyang matatupad, matatupad.
Halin at makinig sa akin, tamang kabalaran ang kahihinatnan natin. Bukal sa iyong isipan, tagumpay na tatahakin. Isang pangarap na lubos, landas na iyong patutunguhan. Pangat na inaasam, di mapipigil ni numan. Maaabot lahat, lahat ng iyong inaasam. Kasipagan ng sagot, salat ka man sa kayamanan. Buksan ang pahina,
COVID-19 pandemic has brought unprecedented changes to our usual ways of living. But the Department of Education remains unfazed by these challenges to fulfill the mission of Sulong Edu Kalidad, the rallying call for national effort to deliver quality basic education to all Filipinos, which involve aggressive reforms in the 4 key areas: the K-12 curriculum review and update, improving the learning environment, teachers upskilling and reskilling, and engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration to move forward together as we prepare the education system for the future. The call for Sulong Edu Kalidad will continue, and we have built the framework of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, or the BELCP, to put the needs of the learners at top priority. DepEd's BELCP is the major response and commitment to protect the health, safety, and well-being of learners, teachers, and personnel. The plan aims to provide opportunities to continue education even in these trying times with a BELCP in place, supported by an unprecedented number of diverse stakeholders from the academe, media, industry groups, NGOs, business and private individuals. Sulong Edu Kalidad will be able to sustain the aims in its reform for quality basic education. In our journey towards quality education, we have established the 4 pillars of aggressive reforms from the start, and we have been continuing to progress in these pillars. In improving the learning environment, we took action in the construction and rehabilitation of school buildings, ensured the availability of learning materials and equipment, and prioritized our last mile schools. The challenges of the pandemic also brought to light the urgent need to upgrade our ICT infrastructure to service the needs of education. In terms of the teachers upskilling and reskilling, we were able to establish more innovative professional standards for teachers and school heads. We have aligned the professional development of teachers with their career progression to track their development as part of the National Educators Academy of the Philippines transformation. With the launch of the Education Futures program, where we will be focusing on innovative actions and solutions to improve the state of our education, we are now more than ready to start a new journey and continue our fight for quality education for all Filipino learners. Finally, we've given high importance to the engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration. In support of this, we have convened the Philippine Forum for Accessible Quality Basic Education, or the Education Forum, which will leverage other partnerships for education quality and strengthen partnership with the Philippine Normal University as the country's national center for teacher education. The department has also been developing a professional development program for teachers and school leaders in order to equip them with the skills, materials, and data that will allow them to help their students prepare for PISA 2022. This intervention consists of the following components: online training for teachers and school leaders, development of learning materials and practice tests for students, deepening the analysis of the PISA 2018 results, and supporting school-level action research. Now that the year is about to end, our commitment to Sulong Edu Kalidad will continue and will be far from being gone. With a lot at stake, considering our new knowledge and experience from this year's challenges, we are equipped to face a new future. As we head on to the future where we will face many challenges and uncertainties, the department will always be the guardian of every Filipino learner's right to education.
Ang isang ligtas na balik-eskwela ay nagsisimula sa bayanihan, bakuna at sa ating pagiging bida.
Isang magandang umaga sa ating lahat dito sa Antipolo City. Maraming salamat sa ating mga opisyal, mga guro at mga mag-aaral sa inyong pagdalo. And welcome sa San Roque National High School dito sa Antipolo para sa BIDA Kid Campaign School Launch.
Ngayon ay makakasama natin dito sa Antipolo si Assistant Secretary for National Academy of Sports and Field Operation, Malcolm Galma.
We also have Director Michelle Lang-Ali from the Office of Health of United States Agency for International Development or USAID.
Siyempre partner, hindi mawawala ang ating mga ka-DepEd dito sa Region 4A. Kasama natin si Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Christopher R. Diaz, Regional Information Officer Ariel Zuelo, at ang head ng San Roque National High School, Miss Rosa Tayamora.
Bilang suporta mula sa local government unit ng Antipolo City, mapapakinggan din natin si Mayor Andrea Andeng Inares. Maririnig din natin si Dr. Alfonso Regala of Department of Health, si Deputy Representative Besad Nobari of the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund or UNICEF, at si Director of Office of Health of United States Agency for International Development or USAID, Director Michelle Lang-Ali.
At syempre partner, sobrang exciting ng umaga ngayon dahil nandito rin ang teachers, parents, at mga bidang mag-aaral mula sa San Roque National High School sa pamumuno ng ating Principal Binibining Rosa Tayamora. Kaway-kaway naman dyan sa mga BIDA Kid and teachers ng San Roque National High School.
Ayan, napakadami nila partner ngayon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo ngayon at sa patuloy na pagiging bida para maging ang lahat ay magkaroon ng isang masaya at ligtas na balik-eskwela.
At upang formal na simulan ang ating programa, inaanyayahan po ang lahat na tumayo at awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas, ang lupang hinirang na susundan ng isang ecumenical prayer.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ang
God, creator of the heaven and the universe, you are worthy of our praises. In you alone, we pray and submit ourselves, for we are nothing without you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness and mercy. Dear Lord, we gather here today with the intent of doing good in thy name. Guide us to the right path. May our efforts be blessed with insights, understanding, wisdom, and respect for all. May our deep faith in you give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Ngayon, partner, magpakilala naman tayo. Pwede na po tayong maupo? Ayan. Ako po si Ginang Jennifer Suarez de la Cruz, ang inyong teacher host mula sa STO Antipolo.
At ako naman si Joseph Ablaneda, ang inyong teacher host. At kami ang inyong makakasama ngayong araw para sa BIDA Kid Campaign School Launch.
Magandang umaga pong muli at maraming salamat sa inyong pakikisa sa pagpapatuloy ng ating BIDA Kid campaign na ating sinimula noong April 5 sa Mall of Asia Music Hall.
Yes, partner, at mas pag-iitingin pa natin ang ating pagiging bida, ngayong nandito naman tayo sa ating tahanan, ang San Roque National High School. Tama ba?
Yes, and of course, maraming salamat sa pakikipagtulungan ng SDO Antipolo for making this event happen. Ito ay sa pangunguna ng ating SDS, walang iba kundi ang ating Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Christopher R. Diaz.
Ngayon naman, partner, alam mo dahil nasa school na lang din naman tayo at malamang na-miss natin ang ganitong programa, pati ang klase, magkakaroon muna tayo ng kaunting review kung para saan ang ating BIDA Kid campaign.
Tama ka dyan, partner. At maraming nagtatanong kung ano nga ba itong BIDA Kid campaign natin. So para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, ang BIDA Kid ay isang kampanya na inulunsad ng Department of Education, katuwang po ng Department of Health, at United States Agency for International Development or USAID upang maipaalala sa ating lahat ang health and safety protocols para masigurong ligtas ang ating face-to-face classes.
Ayun naman pala, partner. So since nandito na tayo sa review session, partner, ano-ano ba ang dapat tandaan para maging bida?
Okay, dapat partner, isa-isahin natin yung mga letra na bumubuo sa salitang bida na yan.
Tama ka dyan, partner. At sisimulan natin sa letra ng B. Ano kaya ang ibig sabihin ng letter B sa salitang bida? Okay, so mga BIDA Kid, ang letter B, ayan tama. Tandaan na best friend natin ang mask. Lalo na sa pagpasok natin sa ating paaralan. Dapat ang lahat ay nakamas at nakasuot ito ng maayos na natatakpan ang ating ilong at bibig.
Ayan, so dahil lumapit ka at tinanong ang ating mga active audience, tatanungin ko rin sila, ano po ang kasunod na letter ng salitang bida? Ayan, so ano ang ibig sabihin ng letter I? Napakahuhusay, tama ba? Letter I, ingatan at hugasan ang ating mga kamay. Pero pwede rin po ito, or ibig sabihin din ito, ay isanitize natin ang ating mga kamay, lalong-lalo na kung tayo ay humahawak sa mga frequently touched surfaces.
Active na active yung ating mga audience ngayon. Ayaw talagang papahuli, ha? Anong ibig sabihin niyang frequently touch surface na yan, partner? Dito sa school, halimbawa, ano yung mga surface na yon?
Okay, magandang katanungan yan, partner, ha? Since marami rin tayong mga guro, mga guests na naririto at mga mag-aaral, ang frequently touched surfaces na tinatawag natin, ito yung mga doorknob, gripo, pati na rin, partner, ha, yung mga handrail ng mga hagdanan.
That's right, partner. Next letter naman natin sa bida ay letter D, which means? Tama, dumistansya muna.
or yung tinatawag nating social distancing. Ayan. So kami po, kahit nandito tayo sa national television, sinusubukan at ina-apply pa rin po namin ang social distancing para kitang-kita nyo pa rin po na ito po ay ina-apply namin. Tama
Kaya
ba,
ngayon,
partner?
tama ka dyan.
Ayan. At last letter sa salitang bida ay letter? Ayan, letter A, na ang ibig sabihin, partner, ay airflow ay panatilihin. Nakitang-kita naman po dito, evidence sa ating venue na kung saan patuloy ang pagdaloy ng airflow. At kung sakali naman, partner, na tayo ay nasa loob ng classroom, ang dapat nating gawin ay buksan yung mga nakasaradong bintana para mapanatili pa rin ang airflow.
Yan, partner, ngayon na napaalala na natin sa ating mga BIDA Kid ang mga dapat nilang gawin para sa isang ligtas na balik-eskwela dahil miss na nga natin ang paaralan, pakinggan naman natin ang ating mga panauhin ngayong umaga. Upang formal na simula ng programa at i-welcome tayong lahat dito sa aming tahanan, ang San Roque National High School, pakinggan natin ang mensahe ng ating butihing prinsipal, Binibining Rosa T. Tayamora.
To the prominent and worthy of respect guest, Honorable Secretary Leonor M. Briones, Secretary, Department of Education, Assistant Secretary Malcolm S. Garma, Assistant Secretary for Field Operations, Department of Education, Director Cesar B. Bringas, Regional Director, DepEd Region 4A, Calabarzon, SDO Antipolo City Family, headed by Superintendent Christopher I. Diaz, CESO 6, Schools Division Superintendent, Schools Division of Antipolo City, DepEd Region 4A, Calabarzon, Honorable Andrea Andeng B. Inares, Mayor Antipolo City, Director Beverly Lorraine Ho, Director Disease Prevention Control Bureau, Director Michelle Lang Ali, Office of Health, United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and Mr. Besad Nobari, Deputy Representative, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, and to Dr. Ariel Azuelo, Information Officer, Calabarzon. Good morning. According to Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher, the only constant in life is change. And similar to change, fear of change is constant. 2 years ago, we were confronted with overwhelming changes in educational landscape. Schools were closed, and all of us were flooded with uncertainties due to COVID-19 pandemic. But we did not falter and embrace the change instead by heeding the UNICEF call that the schooling may stop, but the learning must not. We are very grateful to the community of stakeholders for helping us overcome the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much. Today, we will be witnessing another landmark activity in the Department of Education in partnership with the Department of Health and the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, through the national launch of the BIDA Kid campaign program. Since learning takes place when learners are in the pink of health, this program aims to promote a safe and progressive expansion of face-to-face classes in every school, not just in Antipolo, but the entire Philippines. It is our ardent desire to see everyone becomes a BIDA champion. Best friend natin ang mask, ingatan at hugasan ang kamay, dumistansya upang makaiwas sa sakit, airflow ay panatilihin. Wear mask, observe hand washing and social distancing to avoid getting sick, and maintain room airflow. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, it is health that is real wealth and not pieces of gold or silver. On behalf of 4,900 learners represented by Ms. Myla de la Cruz, SSG President, their parents represented by Mr. Brian Aurelia, GPTA President, 191 teaching and non-teaching personnel, it is my great pride and honor to welcome you to San Roque National High School to the national launch of the BIDA Kid campaign program. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat po sa ating butihing principal, Binibining Rosa Topar Tayamora.
Kasama rin natin ngayon ang Schools Division Superintendent ng Antipolo, Christopher R. Diaz, upang magbigay ng kanyang welcome message. SDS Diaz, good morning po.
Secretary Leonor Mactolis Briones, ASEC Malcolm S. Garma for Field Operations, our dynamic Mayor, Mayor Andrea Andeng Inares, Dr. Alfonso Miguel Regala, the Chief Program Implementation and Outreach Division, Health Promotion Bureau of the DOH, Director Michelle Lang Ali, Office of Health, United States Agency for Information and Development, USAID, Mr. Bezad Nuvari, Deputy Representative of the UNICEF, Mr. Ariel Azuelo, Regional Information Officer, DepEd Region 4A, Mr. Brian Aurelia, the PTA President of San Roque National High School, my colleagues at the Division of Antipolo, teachers, parents, the principal of San Roque National High School, and the host school, Ma'am Rosa Tayamora, stakeholders, guests, students, a pleasant and a safe morning to all. And welcome to the pilgrimage capital of the country, the city of Antipolo. At the outset, we are overjoyed and privileged that the Schools Division of Antipolo City, particularly San Roque National High School, was chosen as a venue for the national launch of the BIDA Kid campaign program, with the end in view of promoting and supporting the safe expansion of the face-to-face classes, and encourages learners, teachers, and the whole school community and education stakeholders to keep practicing and constantly mindful of the COVID-19 health and safety protocols in school and even at home. Here in DepEd Antipolo, 100% of our public schools, as well as a large number of our private schools, are gearing up and excited for the face-to-face classes for school year 2022-2023. And it is my advice to the field to prioritize the health and safety of our school children at all times by providing them a safe school environment once they return to school and hold their face-to-face classes. Sa loob po ng 2 taon ay nakaya namin na ipagpatuloy ang pagkatuto ng aming mag-aaral dito sa DepEd Antipolo. At wala pong dahilan upang kami muli ay magsama-sama upang masiguro namin ang kaligtasan ng aming mag-aaral kapag sila po ay bumalik na sa kanilang mga eskwela. And as we amplify and support the BIDA Kid campaign's message in our division, amid the improving COVID-19 situation in Antipolo City for the past months, it is noteworthy to mention that DepEd Region 4A Calabarzon, through the leadership of our regional director, Director Francis Cesar B. Bringas, who is still in Antipolo, in Iloilo City for the BIDA Eskwela awarding, shares the same strong support for the said campaign, as he sees the importance of a safe environment, a safe school for the face-to-face classes, and to be able to bounce back quickly from the COVID-19 pandemic and its effect to education. Likewise, he would like also to express his thanks to everyone for coming over to this activity, which is a manifestation of your collective and strong support to the BIDA Kid campaign program, and in ensuring that our children continue to learn in the safest possible ways. On this note, on behalf of our strong 5,629 teaching and non-teaching personnel and 180,876 strong, young, and dynamic Antipoleño learners, we would like to welcome you all to DepEd Antipolo, a school division which make great things happen. Dito po sa DepEd Antipolo, ibang klase po kayo. God bless and stay safe, everyone.
Maraming salamat po, SDS Dr. Christopher Diaz, para sa inyong mensahe. Talaga namang napakainit ang pagtanggap sa atin dito sa Antipolo. Siyempre, ang ating tahanan, no? Di ba, partner? Kitang-kita yan sa pag-welcome sa mensahe at ngiti ng ating SDS.
Correct ka dyan, partner. Kaya naman ngayon ay pakinggan natin ang mensahe ng ating Assistant Secretary for Field Operations and National Academy of Sports, ASEC Malcolm Garma, na walang sawang nagsusulong ng ligtas na balik-eskwela.
Bida, bida, bida kid! Ikaw at ito ang bida kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig.
So, in the program, I think everyone or almost everyone has a program. Ito ang nakasulat dito. The program itself is basically a manifestation that the BIDA Kid campaign is indeed a program that is been born out of partnership. So with this, I would like to start my message with expressing our deepest appreciation, our gratitude to our partners internally and externally. First, would like to, of course, internally would like to express our sincerest gratitude to the owner of this venue, the host venue. To our principal, Ms. Rosa Tayamora, ma'am, maraming salamat po for really taking the effort in making sure that our BIDA Kid campaign here in Antipolo City will be of success. And of course, with the guidance of our friend, the Superintendent of the SDO, Division of Antipolo City, Superintendent Chris Diaz. Sir, maraming salamat for supporting our school in making sure that the program will take place in the pilgrimage capital of the Philippines, which is Antipolo. So, will that explain anymore why Antipolo City has become the pilgrimage capital of the country? Even before this Antipolo becomes a city, pumupunta na po kami noon, maliit pa ako. Dito, nagsisimba po kami dyan. And of course, when you go to the Antipolo Church, kasama po dyan yung palagi po na bibilhin nyo palagi, yung kasoy. So, hindi ko lang alam, Sir Chris, kung may kasoy pa tayo rito. So, ang tawag po dyan sa Tagalog ay balubad. No? Yung po yung bunga na kung saan nandun yung buto ng kasoy. And of course, to our external partner, making sure that all the endeavors and undertakings of our schools here in the Antipolo, in the city of Antipolo, would be of success is the support, the ever-enduring support of our local government unit, headed by our mayor, our honorable city mayor, Andrea Inares. I think who will be joining us later through a video message. Of course, one of the most important partner that we have in this project, in this BIDA Kid campaign, is our partner, our colleagues from the USAID. In our launching in the MOA, we were with Mr. Bezud Naubari, but I think he will be represented now, and with us is Director Michelle Lang. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us this morning. And with the overall guidance of our regional office here in DepEd Calabarzon, headed by our Regional Director, RD Francis Bringas, and with us this morning is the PIO of our regional office, Mr. Ariel Azuelo. Sir, magandang umaga, sir. And I think it's inevitable that we have to give due credit on how this project or how this campaign will be of success and that will sustain its impact on our schools, the role that our parents will be playing. So we would like to acknowledge the representative from our parent-teacher organizations, Mr. Brian Aurelia. Maraming salamat, sir. And the overall program of going back to school safely will never be of success without our partnership with the Department of Health. So we would like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Alfonso Miguel Regala, and to all the teachers, the students who are with us this morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Again, thank you, PAS, headed by Sir Jason, for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this sustaining this BIDA Kid campaign. I think this is very relevant for all of us. No? This is not just a program, but we would like to consider this as an advocacy program, not just a mere program of the Department of Education in partnership with the USAID, but we would like this to be an advocacy, a way of life for all of us, especially for our learners, as we again observe the resurgence of the COVID cases in the metropolis and some parts of the other parts of the country, meaning that we have not yet completed our battle, our challenge against the pandemic, against the COVID-19, but we see that this is a recurring issue that we will be facing as we go back to our schools. So I think it's now important that the BIDA Kid campaign become embedded and become a way of life for our learners, for our teachers, as we go back to our face-to-face classes. And part of the message really is to give an update, being the focal group or the focal office or unit of the Department of Education in making sure that our going back to school will be implemented. So this is just to update that so far, based on the data that we have, we already have around 80% of our public schools all over the country. So that's around 38,000 schools that are already compliant to the minimum health standard. So siguro at this point, despite of all the challenges, all the uncertainties that we have faced, siguro it's time to acknowledge all our schools, especially the public schools, in making sure that our schools are compliant. So pwede ba nating palakpakan yung mga schools natin? Sir Jason, live stream ba tayo ngayon? Naka-live stream tayo. Okay. So the reason why I'm asking if we are being seen live through our Facebook pages is because we would like to acknowledge and recognize all the efforts of our stakeholders, especially our teachers, our administrators, in really making sure that it will be primordial for everyone to make sure that our schools are safe. And as of our last data, there are already 71%. As we are about to end our school year, there are already 71% of our schools that have already started the face-to-face classes. So another round of applause for those who have started. So this only means that it is important to all of us in the sector of education to make sure that our children, after a long period of being confined in the homes, doing their home study or doing their distance learning, are in the school to have a more effective way of learning. And for our teachers, of course, a more effective way of teaching. And even our teachers, I think majority of our teachers, based on the survey that we had, would like to go back also to the school. Saan yung mga teachers natin dito? Mga teachers, di ba mas madali at mas maganda na ang mga bata ay nasa school, nasa loob ng classroom, kaysa kaharap nyo lang sa laptop o gumagawa lang sila ng module. I think majority of our teachers would like to see that all their students will be able to go back to their schools. So that is what we are trying to aspire for, that by the next school year, 100% of our schools, especially in the public school, will be able to conduct their in-school classes. The only difference probably is that we would like to try this time. As I always tell, the pandemic has given us some opportunity to innovate the way we deliver education by trying this time to combine what are the gains that we had when we had our distance learning for 2 years. And now that we are going back to the school, and let's see what are the gains, what are the insights, what are the experiences, what are the lessons that we have learned from both modalities, and try to combine these for a more effective delivery of instruction and be able to translate this into more relevant learning outcomes for our learners. So tingnan natin, baka ito na yung pagkakataon na itong combination ng home-based at school-based learning ay ang pinakatama, pinakaakma na paraan ng pagtuturo at pagkatuto ng ating mga mag-aaral. So that is what we are looking at, and this will be outlined in our learning, recovery, and continuity plan. So before we had our BELCP, and now that we have already launched the BEDP 2030, it's the blueprint of what the education sector should be going to, no, in terms of direction. And we would like to complement this BEDP 2030 with our learning, recovery, and continuity plan, wherein the focal message of that continuity plan would be new ways of delivering instruction inside the classroom, inside the school, and while our learners are at home. But while they are at the school, while they are at the classrooms, kailangan turuan na natin sila, imulat na natin ang ating mga mag-aaral kung paano makakaagapay, kung paano makakatugon sa hamon ng ganitong pandemya. We all know and we all agree that this may not be the last pandemic that we're going to experience. So we owe it to our children to teach them how to wear the mask, how to wash the hand. Why is it important to maintain distancing? Why is it important that we get to maintain proper airflow or ventilation inside the classroom? All of this, these are the things that we did not learn when we were students ourselves. So I think we owe it now to our children to teach them on the value and the importance of this new way of life as we integrate this into their daily lesson. And I think there is no other better platform but really to have this advocacy campaign of the BIDA. But before the BIDA, there are 3 Bs that we have to, there are 2 other Bs that we have to disseminate and we have to campaign for. One, the first letter B is the bakuna, the vaccination. So far, there's a good data. Around more than 80% of our 12 to 17 have already been vaccinated, at least 1 dose. But for the 5 to 11, there's still a challenge in terms of the percentage. But we are working closely with our partners from the DOH and the NVOC so that we'll be able to increase the percentage of the 5 to 11 years old that they get vaccinated. We do not require, at the moment, we do not require our learners who will join the face-to-face classes to be vaccinated. But the DepEd, as we always say, that we are in partnership and we are with the Department of Health in encouraging our parents to have their children vaccinated for their safety. So we hope that we will have a higher percentage of the pediatric vaccination so that our going back to school will be safer on top of the BIDA Kid campaign. The other B is bayanihan. So bayanihan is about stakeholders. So we have already manifested the importance of stakeholdership in the program of going back to school as we implement or as we anchor the progressive expansion of face-to-face classes on the shared responsibility framework, wherein we put premium to the role that our local government unit will be playing to make this a success. And of course, our parents. So we ask our parents, we ask for their cooperation, we ask for the support, we ask for their consent in allowing their children to participate in our face-to-face classes. And then again, the third letter B, as we are all here to witness the second launching, the BIDA Kid campaign. And as I have said, it's not only the words, it's not only what it stands for, the letter stands for, but I think what is important for all of us is to make this program a platform for advocacy. That we teach our children, not the program itself, but we teach the children the value of this program to their daily lives. Ano ba ang magiging kontribusyon nito sa kanilang mga buhay habang sila ay lumalaki so that time will come that the pandemic will be just part of our daily lives, but we are able to cope with it. So I think that is the more important aspect of this launching. So again, we'd like to congratulate PAS for sustaining the efforts that have been initiated by the Department of Education and the USAID, our partner. And of course, to our internal stakeholders, congratulations for making this school as the venue for the second launching of the BIDA Kid campaign. Again, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. And I think the Secretary is also monitoring us, monitoring this activity. And before I end, we'd like to congratulate our Secretary, Secretary Leonor Magtolis-Briones, for a job well done in the Department of Education. And we anticipate our working with a Vice President, no other than the Vice President of the Philippines in the Department of Education. Maraming salamat po.
Bida, bida, bida kid! Ikaw at ito ang bida.
Ayan, maraming salamat po, Asek Garma, sa inyong napakagandang mensahe at sa pagbibigay halaga po sa ating mga kapartners at stakeholders. Grabe talaga ang efforts ng DepEd partner at saka ng ating mga partners upang masiguro ang kaligtasan ng kabataan para makabalik na tayo sa face-to-face classes. Tama ba, partner?
Tama ka dyan, partner. Talaga namang full support ng ating mga officials dito sa ating campaign.
At speaking of full support, kasama rin natin today ang Regional Information Officer ng Calabarzon, Mr. Ariel Azuelo, para magbigay suporta at mensahe.
Bida, bida, bida kid! Ikaw at ito ang bida kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig. Sa ligtas na pagbabalik. Sama-sama maging bida kid. Sa bahay,
To our
bida
beloved
kid.
DepEd Secretary Leonor Magtolis-Briones,
Uminom ng bitamina.
Asek
Pakiramdam ba hindi
Garma,
maganda? Sabihin sa magulang at sa bahay muna. Sa
Antipolo
kalye,
City
bida
SDS
kid.
Circus
Best
Diaz,
friend natin ang masuotin kahit
the school head
saan.
of San Roque National High School, Ma'am Rosa Tayamora,
Paggaling sa labas sa school,
our friends from USAID and UNICEF. Good morning. Stakeholders, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang umaga, Calabarzon. Good morning, Pilipinas. Isang malaking karangalan para sa akin ang magbigay ng mensahe ng suporta bilang kinatawan ng mga Field Information Officers mula sa buong bansa. I am both honored and humbled to express our message of support to the BIDA Kid campaign of DepEd on behalf of our dynamic Field Information Officers, which include our fellow Regional Information Officers, our RIOs, Designated Division Information Officers, our DIOs, and the Designated School Information Coordinators, our SICs. For the information of everyone present, as early as the end of March, the Public Affairs Service released a memorandum on the guidelines on the BIDA Kid campaign rollout. And in April, the DepEd memorandum on the recommended activities to support the BIDA Kid campaign was released. Kaya naman, as early as April, naglungsad na ng kanilang localized information dissemination initiatives ang ating mga RIOs, DIOs, and SIC. So palakpakan po natin ang ating mga Field Information Officers. One such commendable initiative is the search for the best BIDA Kid implementer of the Schools Division of Quezon Province with the Division Information Officer, Oscar Duma Jr., and supported by the top management of SDO Quezon. And of course, we have many initiatives, creative and unique initiatives from SDOs in Calabarzon. So we have 22 initiatives in Calabarzon. And all throughout the country, sa buong Pilipinas po, kanya-kanyang initiative ang ating mga information officers. Kaya naman, if you are going to search, use the hashtag BIDAKid. Lalabas po ang lahat ng mga initiative ng ating mga RIOs, DIOs, and SICs. Lalong-lalo na po yung localized video ng BIDA Kid campaign. Ayan. And even before this launch, the information officers in the field have been doing our part, our share, in the promotion of this advocacy of this campaign. As you all know, the BIDA Kid campaign focuses on 3 Bs: bakuna, bayanihan, and BIDA Kid as mentioned by ASEC Malcolm. And mahalaga po ang bayanihan para sa tagumpay ng ating kampanya sa ligtas na pagbabalik-eskwela ng ating mga mag-aaral. Hinahangad o hinihikayat natin ang mga magulang, mga miyembro ng ating pamilya at komunidad na maging aktibong bahagi ng ating kampanya sapagkat malaking papel ang kanilang ginagampanan sa tahanan at komunidad. Gayon din ang mga guro. Sometimes the struggle is within. Paano po natin mahihikayat ang ating mga stakeholders at mga estudyante na magpabakuna kung tayo mismong mga guro ay hindi nagpapabakuna at hindi sumusunod sa mga protocols, di po ba? So the struggle is within sometimes. Kaya naman, importante ang bayanihan. Magbayanihan tayong lahat para sa tagumpay ng ating kampanya laban sa COVID-19. Alam po ninyo, sa panahon ngayon, medyo negative, merong negative connotation ang salitang bida. Kapag narinig natin ang salitang pabida o bida-bida, di ba iba ang kahulugan nito? Ngunit sa pagkakataong ito, positibo ang kahulugan ng salitang bida. Sundin natin ang mga health protocols na pinopromote ng BIDA Kid campaign. Kaya mga bata, para sa ligtas na pagbabalik-eskwela, maging BIDA Kid na. Thank you and God bless.
Maraming salamat po, RIO Ariel. So napaka-meaningful ang mensahe ng ating Regional Information Officer, no? So sabi nga niya sa kanya mensahe na napaka-importante ang bayanihan para masugpo ang pandemya. Dito pa lang sa ating region, talaga napakalaking tulong ng ating RIO upang ipalaganap ang BIDA Kid campaign na ito para sa pagsisimula ng pagpasok o pagbabalik eskwela ng ating mga mag-aaral.
Kaya naman maraming salamat po at sa ilan po nating mga eskwelahan na nagsimula na ng face-to-face classes, maraming salamat din po sa inyo. Ikaw ba, partner, ano ang nararamdaman mo sa balitang ito?
Nako, partner, for sure hindi lang ako, hindi lang ikaw, kundi ang mga guro na nandito at pati yung mga guro na nanonood sa atin ngayon ang masaya. Okay? Bukod sa miss na miss ko nang pumasok, miss na miss nyo nang pumasok sa eskwelahan, ay miss na rin nating makita ang ating mga estudyante. Totoo bang miss na natin ang ating mga estudyante? Yes naman, syempre, 2 taon. No? Talagang hindi tayo nagkita because of pandemic. Iba talaga pag nakikita-kita tayo, partner.
Tama ka dyan, partner. Ang BIDA Kid ay isang kampanya para magsilbing gabay sa ating mga mag-aaral, guro, pati na rin sa buong komunidad. Kumbaga, information dissemination ito.
Tama ka dyan, partner. At after nga ng ating national launch noong April 5, nagkaroon na ng nationwide dissemination itong BIDA Kid campaign, kaya naman may kanya-kanya ng initiative ang mga offices natin. Ngayon, panoorin naman natin ang ilan sa mga ongoing efforts ng iba't ibang DepEd offices and schools sa bansa upang ipaalala sa ating lahat ang pagiging bida para sa ligtas na balik-eskwela. Panoorin po natin ang video na ito.
Bida, bida, bida kid! Ikaw at ako ang bida kid. Sa COVID di pagdadaig, sa ligtas na pagbabalik, sama-sama maging bida kid! Sa bahay, bida kid! pakiramdam ay hindi maganda. Sabihin sa magulang at sa bahay muna. Sa kalye, BIDA Kid! Best friend natin ang mask, suotin kahit saan. Ingatan ang kamay, maghugas pag galing sa labas. Sa school, BIDA Kid! Sa pila, wag dikit-dikit. Dumistansya para iwas sakit. Laging open ang window para maganda ang airflow. 3B's, tandaan, bakuna, bayanihan, BIDA Kid! Halina't magtulungan. Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di ba dadaig? Sa ligtas na pagbabalik. Sama-sama maging BIDA Kid. BIDA, BIDA.
Ayan, isang malakas na palakpakan naman dyan. Ayan. Palakpakan din po natin ang iba't ibang schools at DepEd offices sa kanilang mga pakulo. Maipahayag lang ang mensahe ng ating BIDA Kid campaign.
Yes, partner, halos lahat ng ating field offices sa lahat ng rehiyon ay nakikiisa at kitang-kita naman natin na bidang-bida rito ang ating mga learners. May mga local versions sila ng posters, may mga educational videos, at may mga sumayaw din ng ating BIDA Kid jingle.
Tama ka dyan, partner. At alam mo, yung ating progressive expansion of face-to-face classes ay batay sa shared responsibility framework. Dahil ito ay hindi lamang responsibilidad ng Department of Education o ng mga paaralan, kundi tulad ngayon, ito ay combined efforts ng iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan tulad ng Department of Health or DOH, mga organisasyon at mga local government units.
Agree. At speaking of partners, pakinggan naman natin ang mensahe ni Dr. Alfonso Regala, Chief of Program Implementation and Outreach Division ng Department of Health na isa sa mga katuwang ng DepEd sa pagbuo ng BIDA Kid Launch.
Magandang araw po sa lahat ng kasama natin ngayon. Mga katuwang mula sa kagawaran ng edukasyon, sa USAID, sa mga pinuno ng ating lokal na pamahalaan, at higit po sa lahat sa ating mga guro, mga magulang at kabataan. Nais po naming iparating mula sa kagawaran ng kalusugan ang aming taus-pusong pasasalamat sa dedikasyon ninyong lahat sa ating COVID-19 response, lalong-lalo na po sa pagsulong ng proteksyon ng bawat pamilyang Pilipino sa pamamagitan ng pagbabakuna. Hindi po biro ang pinagdaanan nating lahat. Alam naming napagod kayo pero hindi kayo sumuko. Kaya naman po, humantong tayo sa okasyon ngayon ng mas ligtas na pagbabalik sa mga paaralan. Wala po ito kung wala po ang bawat isa sa inyo. Kaya po ang panawagan namin ay patuloy nating gawin ang ating BIDA behaviors. Nariyan pa rin ang banta ng COVID-19 at variants nito hanggat marami pa rin ang hindi pa bakunado at hindi pa nakakakuha ng boosters sa tamang panahon. Alam na po natin ang ating kailangang gawin. Best friend natin ng mask, ingatan at hugasan ang kamay. Dumistansya at airflow ay panatilihin. Ang ambag natin, ang bawat isang aksyon ng tao, ng ating komunidad at ng paaralan. Sa COVID, di po tayo padadaig. Sama-sama sa BIDA Kid. Ikaw, ako, tayo ang solusyon sa COVID-19. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong napakagandang mensahe, Dr. Regala. Ayon sa kanyang mensahe, no? So talagang malaki ang ginagampanan ng Department of Health para maging ligtas ang ating mga mamamayan, lalong-lalo ng ating mga learners ngayong panahon ng pandemya. Ibinigyan diin niya rin ang importansya ng pagbabakuna. Diba? Yung mga hindi pa nagpapabakuna dyan, yung first, second, at ang ating mga boosters para matigil na at makabalik na tayo sa normal nating pamumuhay. At syempre, dahil sa DOH ay meron tayong tinatawag na safety protocols. And now, to give us their message of support as one of our valued partners in this campaign, let us welcome Ms. Michelle Lang Ali, Director of the Office of Health of USAID. Good morning, ma'am.
BIDA Kid! Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig. Sa ligtas na pagbabalik.
National School. Mr. Christopher Diaz, who's the superintendent for Antipolo. Mr. Ariel Azuelo, who's with the regional office for DepEd, and Dr. Alfonso Regalo, who is with the regional office for the DOH, and of course, Mr. Brian Orio, who is with the PTA for the school. So thank you, everyone. So it's my privilege to represent the United States Agency for International Development, also known as USAID. USAID is the lead U.S. government agency that provides development and humanitarian assistance to partner countries such as the Philippines. For more than 2 years now, the education system in the country continues to be severely affected by the pandemic. As a mother of 2 school-age children, I have personally experienced some of the challenges of distance learning. And I've also witnessed, though, how teachers and students and parents have found creative and inspirational ways to cope with this during this extremely challenging time. As we move forward and resume face-to-face learning, it is important that we continue to observe COVID-19 preventive behaviors to ensure everyone's health and safety, especially our children. So we are so proud to share with you the BIDA Kid campaign, which was developed in partnership with the Department of Education and Department of Health. I'm going to go off script for a minute. This is very personal. My son was struggling very hard during the pandemic. And it wasn't just my son, it was many. So I remember talking with Dr. Yoli, she's our deputy for the Office of Health at USAID, and saying, it can't be just my son. And I think of the other kids out there in country who don't have access to internet or computers. And thanks. We have to do something about this. So we met with our education partners at USAID because we don't work in education. We work in health. And they introduced us to DepEd. And we realized how far along DepEd was with their policies and guidelines. But there was a lot of fear about people going back to school. And we felt like we needed to address this head on. And that's when we invited our partner from Breakthrough Action to work with DepEd and to figure out a campaign so that we can go back to school safely. And so here it is, our BIDA Kid campaign. And it was very powerful to see how far it's been extended, that 73% of the public schools have some sort of face-to-face, because when we started, there was none. And so it's very rare in our job where we can see immediate results with the things that we do. It usually takes a lot of time and a lot of patience with development. But this was one of those cases where we can see very quickly the impact of the work that we do. So anyway, so in this campaign, we remind students and teachers and parents and members of the community to practice 4 key COVID-19 preventive behaviors. Wear your mask. I should put mine back on. Keep hands clean. Keep distance. and provide adequate circulation and airflow. We also encourage parents to have their children vaccinated to give them extra protection from the virus. And I just learned yesterday that the US government has authorized another round of vaccines for children 6 months to 5 years. So I hope it reaches to the Philippines at some point. And we enjoin everyone to be a part of this bayanihan to make our communities safe. So as we roll out the campaign nationwide, we are grateful for the support of our partners like UNICEF and the US Peace Corps, who have also made their commitment to support the production and distribution of the BIDA Kid materials for schools. We are thrilled with the support and hard work of DepEd, especially Dr. June's team, to get these materials into the hands of teachers and learners throughout the country. So let us all continue to practice the BIDA behaviors and encourage vaccinations so that soon all our learners are in face-to-face classes. Maraming salamat po.
Bida! Bida! Bida Kid! Ikaw at ako ang Bida Kid.
Thank you so much, Ms. Michelle Lang Ali, Director of the Office of Health of the USAID, for your heartfelt message and for your continuous support to the Department of Education. Now, let us listen to message of Mr. Besad Nubari, Deputy Representative at UNICEF Philippines.
Honorable Secretary Leonor Briones, Assistant Secretary Malcolm Garma, Honorable Mayor Andrea Nares, colleagues from the Department of Education, the Department of Health, and the United States Agency for International Development, teachers, parents, and local government officials, good morning. On behalf of UNICEF, I congratulate the Department of Education, the Department of Health, and USAID for the launch and implementation of the BIDA Kid campaign. This is a timely initiative as schools, local government units, parents, and the whole community are mobilized for the progressive expansion of safe in-person learning. We at UNICEF affirm that all children should resume in-person classes as soon as possible without barriers to access. Millions of children worldwide and in the Philippines faced unprecedented disruption to their in-person learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many children were forced to drop out and faced heightened vulnerability to violence, child marriage, and child labor. Not being in school has also negatively impacted on children's physical and mental well-being. Some students struggle with distance learning due to various reasons, such as lack of gadgets and stable connectivity, which make learning more challenging compared to when they are in in-person classes. Indeed, the pandemic has put this generation of learners at risk of learning and earning loss. Evidence is clear that mitigation measures like implementing minimum health protocols in schools are effective in ensuring the safety of learners and teachers, as proven by the successful conduct of the pilot and expansion of in-person learning in elementary and high schools, as well as the ongoing reopening of selected child development centers. The BIDA Kid campaign helps strengthen the implementation of minimum health protocols in school. The campaign's simple yet effective health reminders such as wearing masks, hand washing, improving ventilation and airflow, and keeping distance greatly help in lowering the risk of infection and ultimately in reducing disruptions to in-person learning. While not a requirement in attending in-person learning classes, the vaccination of children gives them an additional protection against COVID-19 and reduces risk of severe illness. With the resumption of in-person classes and implementation of the BIDA Kid campaign, we're providing learners with a safe environment where they receive services needed to meet their learning, health, and psychosocial well-being, as well as other needs. This is especially important to the marginalized and vulnerable children who face a bigger risk of disengaging from learning, considering the limitations of remote learning approaches. UNICEF strongly supports DepEd, DOH, and USAID in the campaign because we have the shared belief that schools are central to children's development safety, and well-being. We are one with government agencies, stakeholders, and partners in ensuring that the best interests of every child is put first as in-person learning resumes in more schools and soon in all schools nationwide. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that wonderful message, and thank you very much, UNICEF, for the untiring support to the Department of Education. Again, thank you, Deputy Representative Nobari.
Ayan, thank you, UNICEF. Ngayon naman, para sa mensahe ng pakikiisa mula sa local government unit ng Antipolo, pakinggan po natin si Mayor Andrea Andeng Inares.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Health is wealth. Lumang kasabihan man ito, hindi ito kailanman mawawala ng katotohanan. Kaya naman, welcome po sa national launch ng ating BIDA Kids campaign ngayong araw. Gusto kong pasalamatan ang mga katuwang natin sa programang ito. Mula pa man noon, kasama na natin sila sa pagtupad ng mga layunin natin. Salamat po sa DepEd at syempre, sa DOH at USAID. Thank you for choosing Antipolo for today's national launch. Hayaan niyo rin pong kunin ko ang pagkakataong ito para pasalamatan kayong lahat. It has truly been an honor to serve you all. Noong panahon pa ng pandemya, pagkaisa ang nagsalba sa atin. Ipagpatuloy po sana natin ang bayanihan at syempre ang ating core value, malasakit sa ating kapwa. Muli po, nasa inyo po ang aking paggalang at pasasalamat. Huwag kayong mag-alala, hindi naman po ako mawawala. I will still be here, supporting my husband and our people. Hanggang sa susunod po nating pagkikita, may everyone be safe, healthy, and productive. And of course, dapat happy all the time. May God bless us all.
Ayan, maraming salamat po sa ating butihing Mayor Andrea Andeng Inares. At ngayon naman po ay tinatawagan po natin ang ating mga guest speakers para sa turnover ng BIDA School Kids. Inaanyayahan po namin si Asek Garma upang formal na ipamahagi ang ating mga BIDA Kid Kids. Ito po ay tatanggapin ng ating SDS Dr. Christopher Diaz, kasama po ng ating school principal, Miss Rosa Tayamora, at ang ating RIO, Ariel, as well. We are also asking for we would like also to call in Ma'am Michelle Lang Ali.
BIDA Kid! Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig, sa ligtas na pagbabalik, sama-sama maging BIDA Kid. Sa bahay, BIDA Kid. Kumain ng masustansya.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all witness the turnover of BIDA Kid Kids.
Sabihin sa magulang at sa bahay muna. Sa kalye, BIDA Kid.
A round of applause, please, everyone. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga guest speakers para sa pag-turnover ng ating BIDA Kid Kids. Yan.
Thank you so much po.
But saglit lang, partner, no? Ano nga ba ang laman ng ating mga BIDA Kids para sa ating mga schools?
Ayan. Partner, kanina nasilip ko kung ano yung mga laman ng ating mga BIDA Kid kits. Na, meron yang mga alcohol, face mask, pati na rin mga tissue na magagamit po ng ating mga mag-aaral. At yung kanina po na ipinamahagi ay naglalaman po ng mga posters na pwede pong idikit sa mga paaralan sa buong Pilipinas.
Para sa mas malawak na information dissemination, ito-turn over po natin ang nilalaman ng mga kits na ito sa DepEd Calabarzon para naman ma-distribute nila ito sa lahat ng mga division offices.
Sa ating BIDA Kid campaign, syempre mahalaga na magkaroon ito ng suporta mula sa mga mag-aaral. Dahil para sa kanila naman talaga ang ligtas na balik-eskwela. Kaya naman, para magbigay ng kanyang mensahe, tinatawagan ko po si Miss Myla de la Cruz, Supreme Student Government President ng San Roque National High School.
Bida, bida, bida kid! Ikaw at ako ang bida kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig.
Pleasant morning to everyone. To our DepEd Secretary, Mrs. Leonor Briones. To our Assistant Secretary for Field Operation, Department of Education, Assistant Secretary Malcolm S. Garma. To the Office of Health United States Agency for International Development, USAID, Director Michelle Lang Ali. Schools Division Superintendent, Antipolo Department of Education, Mr. Christopher Diaz. Regional Information Officer, Regional Office for a Calabarzon Department of Education, Mr. Ariel Azuela. To our Honorable Mayor, Mrs. Andrea Inares. To our Chief Program Implementation and Outreach Division, Health Promotion Bureau, Dr. Alfonso Miguel Regala. To our Deputy Representative, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, Mr. Bezad Nobari. To our school principal, Ms. Rosa Tayamora, and to our Parents Teachers Association President, Mr. Brian Aurelia. Also, good morning to all teachers, students, guests, and school staffs. Malala Yousafzai once said, "One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world." In behalf of the Supreme Student Government of San Roque National High School, let me introduce myself. I am Myla A. de la Cruz, and I am honored to have a message of support at this event. As the virus strikes, all of us are affected by it. As a student that currently studying amidst of pandemic, I experienced some of the common problems that a student can face in the new mode of learning. Just like poor internet connection, doesn't have a gadget that needed in online classes, or passing outputs through Google Classroom or Messenger, money for load to have an internet access, and more. The past 2 years have been a challenge, especially for the students who are not privileged. Many learners decided to stop studying for a while because of the lack of gadgets or because some of their parents cannot afford this new mode of learning. This shows that the new normal is costly for some learners. Of course, there are still students that continue their study to make a step for their dreams. We are having this event with the Department of Education. The BIDA Kid campaign reminds everyone to continue observing COVID-19 prevention measures as children return to school and people resume in-person activities. Let us all appreciate the hard work and efforts of every student. Even though they are struggling answering their modules, they don't have gadgets and internet connection, or maybe they are working while studying. With the help of Department of Education and the local government units, they provided gadgets to the students who needed it the most. For them to learn, and also some of our teachers deliver the modules to some of the students just for them to have a quality education. Recently, the San Roque National High School opened limited face-to-face classes for the modular students. The hard work of the students inspires many people to continue their dreams. They prove that the pandemic is nothing if you have a goal. They all strive for what they deserve. They deserve a better future, and studying is a stepping stone to reach it. This pandemic makes students stronger by making us resilient and persistent. We can let this virus win over our dreams. Education is the only treasure we have that the other people can steal from us. No virus can stop us from achieving our goals and dreams. I am hoping that we can go back to normal as soon as possible. I am hoping also that we can all go back to the four corners of the classroom and learn together with our classmates. We thought that this new mode of learning is impossible, but look at us, moving forward to another year. Let me end my message with a quote from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. Again, I am Myla de la Cruz. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.
BIDA Kid!
Maraming salamat sa napakagandang mensahe, Myla. Alam nyo na napakalaki ng gampanin ng SSG sa mga paaralan dahil sila ang nagiging role model para sa kanila, para sa mga mag-aaral at syempre katuwang din sila ng pamunuan ng eskwelahan para ipalaganap ang BIDA Kid campaign na ito. At ngayon naman, hindi rin mawawala ang mensahe ng suporta mula sa Pangulo ng Parents Teachers Association mula pa rin dito sa San Roque National High School. Narito po si Ginoong Brian Aurelia.
BIDA Kid! Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig. Sa ligtas na pagbabalik. Sama-sama maging BIDA Kid. Sa bahay, BIDA Kid. Kumain ng masustansya. Uminom ng vitamina. Ang pakiramdam ay hindi maganda. Sabihin sa magulang at sa bahay muna. Sa kalye, BIDA Kid. Best friend natin ang masusutin kahit saan.
Sa masisipag na ating mga guro,
Paggaling sa labas sa school,
mahal na magulang, mag-aaral, sa ating GBT Department, isang mapagpalang umaga sa ating lahat.
Tandaan, bakuna, bayanihan, BIDA Kid. Halina't magtulungan. Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig. Sa ligtas na pagbabalik. Sama-sama maging BIDA Kid.
Ginoong Christopher R. Diaz, School Division Superintendent, School Division of DepEd 4, E. Calabarzon, Antipolo. Magandang umaga po, sir. Sa ating pong punong school head, Ma'am Rosa T. Tayamura, good morning po. Sa ating pong Mr. Ariel Suela, Regional International Office, Region Office 4, Calabarzon, Department of Education. Good morning po. Sa ating pong Assistant Secretary, Malcolm S. Garma. Assistant Secretary of the Field Operation, Department of Education. Sir, good morning po. Dr. Alfonso Miguel Regala, Chief Chief Program Information on Outreach Division, Health Production Bureau, Department of DOH. Good morning po. Director Michelle Lang Ali, Office of Health, United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Good morning po. Mr. Bisad Nobri, Deputy Representative, United Nations International Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF. Good morning. Mayor Andrea Anding Hinaris, Mayor Antipolo City. Good morning po. Ms. Myla de la Cruz, Supreme Student Government President, San Roque National High School. Ngayong araw, formal na inilungsad ng kagawaran ng edukasyon, kagawaran ng kalusugan at United States for International Development, USAID, ang pambansang BIDA Kid COVID-19 Prevention Campaign upang suportahan ang ligtas na pagpalawak ng face-to-face classes sa buong bansa. Simula ng DepEd, DOH at USAID ang pambansang kampanya ng BIDA Kid upang hikayatin ang mga mag-aaral, guro at stakeholder ng edukasyon na patuloy na isagawa ang mga alituntunin sa kalusugan at kaligtasan ng COVID-19 sa paaralan at publikong lugar. Sa isang pangunahing prioridad ay ang kaligtasan ng ating mag-aaral. Sa gitna ng hamon ng COVID-19, ang kampanya ng BIDA Kid ay isa inisyatiba ng ating pamahalaan upang hikayatin ang lahat na manatiling protektado ang ating mga anak. Habang unti nating ipakilala ang pag-aaral ng kabatay sa silid-aralan. Upang may sagawa ang hakbang na ito, ay kailangan nating ipagpatuloy ang pag-obserba ng safety measure sa ating paaralan. Maging sa ating tahanan, sa pagpabuti ng sitwasyon ng COVID-19 sa buong bansa. Sa kabilang ng mga hamon na kinaharap ng bawat isa sa atin, ay dapat nating tandaan at isa puso ang isang ligtas na kapaligiran sa paaralan ay mahalaga para sa pag-unlad ng ating mag-aaral. Ito ay posible lamang kung patuloy nating patagumpay ang pagbabakuna sa COVID-19. Sa ating komunidad at mangako sa pagsagawa ng mababang pamantayan sa kalusugan ng publiko sa lahat ng oras. Bilang Pangulo ng GPTA ay nihikayat ko ang bawat isa na patuloy na makipagtulungan at makibahagi sa iba't ibang proyekto ng ating paaralan at komunidad para sa pagkinabangan ng ating mga guro at mag-aaral makabangon mula sa pandemya ng COVID-19. Muli, maraming salamat.
BIDA, BIDA, BIDA Kid! Ikaw at ako ang BIDA
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Aurelia, para sa napakagandang mensahe. Alam mo, partner, no, napakalaki ding tulong ng GPTA sa paaralan dahil sila din ang katuwang ng paaralan sa pag-i-implement ng mga proyekto at syempre sa paghahanap ng mga stakeholders lalo para sa ikatatagumpay ng mga proyekto ng ating paaralan.
Tama ka dyan, partner. At wag po nating kalilimutan na ang ating mga GPTA officers ay representative ng ating mga pangunahing stakeholders kung iyan po ay yung ating mga magulang.
At palakpakan natin ang ating GPTA. Maraming salamat po. Bagay na bagay ngayong umaga yung jiggle natin sa BIDA Kid, no, partner? Bukod sa may mensaheng panatilihin tayong ligtas, nakakabuhay pa yung kanta at talaga namang mapapasayaw ka. Di ba, partner, nakita ko, sumasayaw-sayaw ka kaninang ganun
Partner, kanina napapaindak ako. Parang hindi ko mapigilan yung pag-ano ng...
Isang sample naman dyan, partner.
Mamaya yan, pagkatapos natin
Sige.
mapanood yung
Aasahan namin
ating
yan, ha?
intermission number. So ayan, katulad nga ng iyong nabanggit, speaking of sayaw. Siyempre, tapusin naman natin ang ating programa ng punong-puno ng sigla, kaya halina't makiindak sa BIDA Kid Dance Performance ng San Roque National High School Dance Troupe.
Bida, bida, bida kid. Ikaw at ako ang bida kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig. Sa ligtas na pagbabalik. Sama-sama maging bida kid. Sa bahay, bida kid. Kumain ng masustansya. Uminom ng vitamina. Kung pakiramdam ay hindi maganda, sabihin sa magulang at sa bahay muna. Sa kalye, bida kid. Best friend natin ang masusutin kahit saan. Ingatan at pamay maghugas paggaling sa labas sa school. BIDA Kid! Sa pila wag dikit-dikit. Dumistansya para iwas sakit. Laging open ang window para maganda ang airflow. 3B's, tandaan, bakuna, bayanihan, BIDA Kid. Halina at magtulungan. Ikaw at ako ang BIDA Kid. Sa COVID di pa dadaig. Sa ligtas na pagbabalik. Sama-sama maging BIDA Kid.
Maraming salamat sa Roque National High School Dance Troupe. O ayan, partner, tapos nang magsayaw. Paano ba yan? It's your turn.
Ayan, mukhang masasaksihan ng buong Pilipinas yung aking magandang moves. Nakita niyo po ba yung mga paganon-ganon? Kayang-kaya rin po yan ng aking partner dahil siya po ay coordinator ng dance sports.
Naku, nakakatamad sumayaw,
Yan,
partner.
mga ganyan,
Talaga
partner,
nakakatamad.
diba?
At talaga napapaindak tayo sa jingle ng BIDA Kid campaign. At maraming salamat din po sa pamunuan ng San Roque National High School na pagpasok pa lamang sa ating eskwelahan or pagpasok pa lamang ng ating mga guests ay talagang bumugad na ang mga materials at safety protocols para sa ating lahat at para sa ating mga mag-aaral. Para sila ay maging BIDA Kid. Muli, tandaan natin ang mga paraan para maging bida. Ulitin natin, ha. Let us have a recapitulation. So ano nga uli ang ibig sabihin ng letter B? Very good. Best friend natin ang mas.
At ano ang ibig sabihin ng letter I?
At ang letter D naman ay?
At ang huling letter na letter A?
Very good. Ang ating mga audience, ha? Talaga naman.
Talagang 100% agad sa recitation. Ayan, talagang nakikinig ng mabuti sa ating campaign. At katuwang syempre ng ating bida ay ang bakuna at ang bayanihan. Sa tulong nito, masisiguro natin ang kaligtasan nating lahat.
And we would like to thank our partners, the Department of Health, United States Agency for International Development or USAID, and United Nations Children's Fund or the UNICEF, maraming salamat din po sa pagpapaunlak sa amin sa San Roque National High School sa pangunguna ng ating principal, Binibining Rosa Tita Yamora, ma'am. Maraming salamat po.
At syempre, gayon din ay maraming salamat po sa SDO Antipolo, spearheaded by Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Christopher R. Diaz at sa buong rehiyon ng Calabarzon. Maraming salamat din po sa continuous support ng teachers, learners, and parents sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa. At syempre, sabi nga kanina ni ASEC, ng ating ASEC, kailangan nating bigyang pagpapahalaga ang ating mga stakeholders at partners. Kaya naman, maraming salamat po sa partners ng Department of Education. Ganon din po, maraming salamat sa Canon Philippines at syempre sa LGU dito sa Antipolo, Barangay San Roque City Council. Muli, ako po si Ginang Jennifer Suarez de la Cruz.
At ako naman si Teacher Joseph Gratones Ablaneda at ito ang BIDA Kid Campaign School Launch. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat!
Sama-sama tayong maging BIDA Kid!